Hi everybody, Jake here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. If you're new, we are back with, I guess, another episode of Lille Legends. We have obviously finished the series, but I did mention in the last episode, if we did get a certain amount of likes, we'd do a 5 years in the future thing to see how the club's got on, if they're still doing great, what happened to some of the key players from the save, and just in general, a look back at the save. And we'll also talk about plans for a next save and what we're going to do with the rest of FM22. So to the people who are watching, I'm sure there isn't going to be as many of you as there would be for a normal Lille Legends episode. I'm prepared for that. But to the people who are, thank you for all your support throughout the series and thank you for coming to watch this episode. I think it's going to be quite a fun one to check out what's happened. And yeah, as I did mention, we'll talk about future plans too, probably towards the end of the video for what we're going to do next. And there's also going to be discussions about that in the Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, linked in the description, feel free to join that. Over 100 members. Some really helpful guys in there. So yeah, thank you to everyone who has came to watch this video. I have got a fan on in the background because it's currently like 30 degrees here in the UK and we don't have air conditioning anywhere. So I'm having to use a fan. So if that's noisy on the microphone, I apologise. I've done a few tests. I think it should be fine. But if it is, I am sorry if you can't hear it. But yes, here we are. Lille Legends has of course came to an end and we chose to retire. I have made a save file right at the end of before I retired, so maybe I'll put that in the Discord. A few people have showed some interest in possibly using that. Maybe a couple of you want to download it and run it on your own Football Manager saves and carry on with the team and see how far you could get. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So I guess the first thing to do is to check out the French division. Now, I had a look roughly after about a year or two in, so I know who was managing at that point, but this is 5 years in the future. I don't really know what's gone on since then. But overall, things were looking okay, like the ship was being steadied, and it looks like Paris Saint-Germain have taken over as the best team in France without our management there. If we go and have a look at the league table, Lille actually won it. Okay, no, Lille won it in the final season. That's great. Okay, but it looks like this season hasn't came to a full end because there's still a couple of games to go before they're crowned as the official holders. But great, Lille are doing good, and that is a good sign of things to come. It bodes well for what we're about to look at. So let's go and have a look firstly at the manager situation and who's managing the club. It is Simone Inzaghi. Now, I could be wrong, but if we go and check our history and managers, I think he took over as soon as I finished. He did. He took over very soon, and he's been there for longer than we were now. He's been there for longer than we were. He has won nowhere near what we've won, but I bet somehow he's on the favoured personnel list where we're not. We'll actually find that out in a few minutes, but yeah, Inzaghi is the manager. He's a very good manager within this game. If we have a look at his career before he did join us, let's have a look. He was managing Lyon, who were doing okay in our save, but not amazing. He got sacked by Lazio, so I guess he hasn't had that great of a managerial career, but he's done well out here in Lille, and he does have some very good attributes and a very high reputation. So Inzaghi is the current manager of Lille, and key players, captain Uar is still there, Anel Ahmedhodzic is there as vice-captain, still a 5-star reputation club, and since the last few seasons, where did we finish? We obviously finished on a win, where they then went to finish second, third, and then first again in the current season. So he has pulled them back. I'm surprised he didn't get sacked, to be honest, but he's done quite well there. And I wonder who's going to be part of the team. I haven't looked into this yet. I don't know who's left, who's stayed. But I'm hoping quite a few of our key players are there. I know that a lot of them did have interest because they were young players, so I wouldn't be surprised if without me, the Lille board caved into the pressure. But the finances are only okay as well. We were rich back in the day, so I don't know what's happened there. 63 capacity stadium. Let's go and have a look at the first team squad and see who they've got. Before we go and take a deep dive into this, I will say I will do a quick check out of some of the key transfers and release contracts. So that will include some of you guys, viewer players in the game, ones that have been named after the channel viewers. So we'll see how they're getting on. No promises that I'll do every single one, but any that come up and are of interest, we will take a look at. But first thing we'll notice that Massey isn't a goalkeeper here anymore. They've got a guy called Wagner who is a regen and looks very good, to be honest, so fair play to them there. They seem to have replaced him quite well. And they've got Drakowski on the bench. Now, if we have a look at anyone that we recognise, we've obviously got Ahmedhodzic, who is still a very good player and is now 31 years of age. He's had some great seasons, consistently scoring plenty of goals, particularly in the last 2 years. He's got his goal-scoring touchback, so it's good to see Ahmedhodzic is there, and that was a great signing from us, really. A 30-year-old Todibo, neither of them being replaced just yet, and both of them performing at a very high level. I did notice this after about a year of checking on Lille, maybe even in the second year, I can't remember, but they were deploying a 5-at-the-back system, so it seems like that's still what they're going for, which I wouldn't do, but they've gone and done it. They've got Wan-Bissaka, Benassa. Who else do we remember? We've got Aouar. We remember him. He was good for us, and he has been pretty consistent since, so we definitely brought in some good talent here. And then they've got Simovic, who is someone we were looking at for quite a while, one of the best young strikers in the game. We obviously didn't have him because he was at Real Madrid, but he looks like a good signing for Lille. And I do wonder where Celso Jung is. But Geronimo Bruno, who we used as a attacking midfielder, yeah, has been deployed as a striker for Lille quite recently. The Argentinian, now with 39 appearances and 28 goals, looks like one of the best players in the world, probably valued at £75 million. And wow, he has done way better than we could ever have imagined. This is where we finished, I think, after 17 appearances, 5 goals. He obviously became a key player after that, and he's just recently got 26 goals, 22 goals. He is a star striker in the league. Geronimo Bruno has had an absolute meteoric rise there into one of the world's best players, so great to see him doing good. Anthony, still at the club. I think this was probably one of my worst signings for how much we paid for him, but no, he's still doing pretty well. I'll take that. Anthony is a pretty good player. Musa Barrow still hanging around, now on the transfer list by request apparently. He was obviously one of the best players in the series in terms of what he did for the club, and still puts in some great performances when he is used. However, he's been used very sparingly since they have moved to this more narrow system, I would say. Thiago Almada still at the club. I thought he would have gone by now, to be honest. He was one that I was ready to get rid of had the save continued. Went on loan to Villarreal, did pretty well there, but then never really... I suppose actually a 7 average match rating with 28 appearances is good, but after that they stopped using him so much. So it looks like he is on the decline now. Sasuke still hanging around. Andres Medina, there's the first channel viewer player that I do remember. He is still a backup goalkeeper here at Lille. Has actually appeared quite a few times over the season, so nice to see him doing well. And he's actually a pretty decent goalkeeper. So I think it's just Sasuke who's the last one to look at, and he was so good when we finished the series. He's now had 33 appearances for the French national team, still only 24. He's going to go for another 10 years yet. He's pretty much maxed out, I imagine, his potential now, but physically, this is kind of a level we had him at, I think. Physically great. And like many of the others, he's been consistently good since we left the club. I guess we made the players so good that they just couldn't fail under Inzaghi, but there is Sasuke. That is one of the only players that I do recognise in the team. If we go to the second team, is there anyone that I will remember really quickly? I don't think so. And then if we go and check the under-19s, I don't think there's anyone we're going to know from there. It looks like the youth academy has stopped producing such good talent that we did have. Yeah, oh, Billy Kwok. Billy Kwok's still around at the club. How is he doing? 23 years old. Looks like he's running out of contract. Has been doing a little tour of the French divisions by the look of it, and sometimes going over to Spain. To be honest, I thought he was one of the best youngsters we produced, so that's a bit worrying that he's only there. So I wonder what has happened to the likes of Tiny Cox is missing. Who else is missing? Emerson. Celso Jung wasn't at the club, so plenty of transfers have gone on, and I think that's the next thing to quickly take a look at. So we'll start with transfer history, and I'm not looking. We're going to go back to when we were managing, which was, we did this season. I think this season is going to be the one that we didn't do. Yeah, so we've got Dominic Grief was signed as a goalkeeper. I guess because we never really had a backup, which is something I'm not bothered about in game, but I guess the assistant manager might see that as a problem. I never really do it because I don't really see goalkeepers getting injured, so that must have been why they brought him in. Only spending 12 million in a summer is pretty poor. Antonio Carlos was brought in, who is still at the club. He's only a fringe player now for £2 million. I suppose that's a good bit of business. But who did we lose in an actual transfer deal? So Titi was sold, Jake Fuller was sold, who went to Marseille, is now playing for Angers consistently. So he's getting second division French football and is a key player for them, so hopefully they can get promoted. Other than that, no one was really sold for any significant value. I won't take a look too much at some of the other players yet, because we'll see if they have moved on when we get round to it. But there you go. Anyone released? I think we can do that, can't we? We can do released players. No one was released that season. Next season, 4 players were released, and I think at least 3 of them are channel viewer players, because I know Naruto was. He's been released and is now an important player for Nimes in the second division and occasionally playing in the first division too, so he's got a good career out of it. Theo Delane is someone I don't think was named after a channel viewer player. No, there's no nickname for him yet. But the other 2, Claire Mardrason was the only female named player we had in the game, and they are now a centre-back, a French centre-back out for Melbourne City in Australia. So that's where he went, and he's had a pretty good career there, or she, should I say. And then we've got Baghdad Maboli, who is a French right-back, playing for Saint Etienne, only as a breakthrough prospect right now. Never really got the chance, did he? He's played a few times for the first team actually this season, 6 games in Ligue 1. I think he'll take. That's actually a pretty good player, I would say, but he's only ever going to be like a fringe player at that kind of level, I would imagine. And now let's have a look at the actual cash transfers that happened this season. So it seems like we brought in a defensive midfielder that kind of feeds into Inzaghi's system, I guess. Manuel Ugarte is one of the best, and a new striker, so I guess one did leave. There you go. Celso Jung left for £98 million. He is an elite striker, now 25 years old, playing consistently for Brazil. Looks amazing, even better than where we left him. Playing for Liverpool since we sold him by the looks of it. where they haven't really used him that much. That's probably £98 million not spent well from Liverpool. He's been getting good average match ratings, but not too many goals. I think we got the best out of him. They're probably not using him in the way they should have. I've accidentally gone off it there. But yes, anyone else moved? So Duff Allen, that was a Channel Viewer player. Yes, he went to Juventus, now at Udinese for £330,000. His career has not been anything special just yet. Ten Cooper Myers went to Barcelona on a free. Nice to see him doing well out there, but it's quite surprising that they let Cooper Myers go on a free and then bought in Ugarte, although it's not that bad of a deal. Eden Hazard left on a free. He's now an assistant manager. How did he fare for Brøndby? He played 13 games and was pretty good for them, so nice to see he's continuing out there. Who else do we remember? Dominic Grief was nothing to do with us. Georgiao, Nelio, Luke Thomas, there you go, that's someone, Luke Thompson. He's only been loaned out, although valued at £18.5 million at Sevilla. We had a very good player on our hands there that I probably just didn't recognise. Went to Corona, then to FC Lorient, and now at Sevilla, where he hasn't played too much, but, you know, valued quite highly, so he's obviously got a good career out of it. Has anyone else moved for an actual fee? Edmundo Rosa went to Lyon for £10 million. And is now at Milan, so he's done a bit of a tour there and is playing consistently, so nice to see him getting first team football if you are watching. This guy whose name I was never able to pronounce, Nicholas whatever it was, we bought him in as basically the future of the defence. Lille obviously didn't see it that way, sold him for £28 million to Manchester United, where he's been performing consistently for them for the last few seasons. Anyone else interested on top of that? I should sort it by fee, that'll make it a lot easier. Ikone was sold. Ikone was sold to Rennes, where he still is, and he's doing well out there. He was always a good player for us. I think that's pretty much everyone. I'm going to speed it up now and just focus on the most notable things that happened. So if we go by fee, Emerson left the club to PSG, where he is now at Milan, so he's obviously had a bit of a career out there. Renato Sanchez left to Benfica, where he still is. Nice to see him go back to Portugal. Aaron Martin went to join Ajax. What a good player he was for us in the save. We got Arthur Fernandez, who we picked up on a free, is now playing for Atletico Madrid, and the club made a lot of money on him. Wagnerman was sold. This seems like the season where they sold everybody that we produced. Never Said went to Dortmund for £16 million. He is now playing consistently for Dortmund here and there and valued at a total of £46 million and is a very good centre-back. So Neva, if you're watching, there you go. You've done pretty well. Anybody else that I remember? Okay, so that was the only significant stuff that happened there. If we go and have a look at released players, no one that we really remember there. So let's go back to all transfers, carry on to the next season. Made some big signings that season, but we did make some huge sales this year, and this is what's going to make me sad. Anthony Massey left to join Manchester United, where for £134 million, wow, he actually made a profit on 90 million. He's been consistent for them. Manchester United's goalkeeper, we definitely had the best player, the best goalkeeper in the world there, I think, when we signed him. Tiny Cox has gone to Manchester City and is a star player. £96 million he went for and has played consistently for Manchester City, so what a great player he was. Mikel Cousins is now at Inter Milan. Matthias Arezzo was still hanging around the club, and he's gone to Feyenoord for around £20 million. We have Tom Mountford, has left for he's at PSG, but he left for Rennes, then moved to PSG, so he's had a pretty good career. Our youth academy produced so many good players, I think. So many players who have just gone on to have a great career in football. Alvin Bjorn left on a free. He is now at, where is he at? He is at Marseille, so he's done pretty well. He went to Saint Etienne first, and now he's at Marseille for £13 million. We had a really good system on our hands here. Right, let's move on to the next season. We're almost caught up to 2030. Sorry if you guys are feeling like this dragging out. I'm trying to do it as quick as I can, but it's very interesting to me to see where some of our players are at right now. Conor O'Brien was a Channel Viewer player. He is playing for Le Havre now. We've got Luenio moving to Reims. Everyone else is pretty much a free deal, so if you do see your own name, I mean, it's 2030 here, so the chances are that you are still at where you went to, because this is only the 2029 season. So that is all the differences to the team that they've made. Pretty much all of our squad has been sold. However, Lille's success is still continuing, which is great to see. Is there anything else we need to look at? I don't think so. Have they won any? Here we go. Let's have a look at competitions and see if they've won anything of major interest. I mean, since we've left them, they've obviously just won the league, so that hasn't came through just yet. They were runners-up and third-place players. I'm looking for anything after 2025. They were runner-up in the Europa League in 2026. They won the French Cup a few times without us. I think that's pretty much it. That's everything that is interesting there. Under 19 Champions Cup runners-up, so we did have a good youth team going there. Now, the one thing I want to see is who is classed now as like the favoured players, favoured personnel on the list. I'll be so annoyed if Inzaghi is above me, but it seems like the Legends list hasn't changed. Aaron Martin's still there. Are we still in? Have we maybe ever moved up? Ahmed Hozic has moved up to an icon. That's nice to see. Anyone else that we recognise? Hazard's still an icon. That's pretty much it. And then I've just moved my head so you guys can see the favoured personnel list. But Aouar, Anthony, Todibo, Inzaghi, Arezzo. Don't tell me we're not on there. We must be below it. They don't take people off, do they? Bruno, Cooper, Armada, Pascal Planck. When were you ever involved in the club? Okay, fair enough, right. He's like a historical player. I'll let that off. But that annoys me that Inzaghi is at the same level I am. I brought so much success to this club, but I'll stop talking about it because that was something that I talked about for far too long in the final video. But there you go, guys. That is Lille Legends, 5 years into the future. Hopefully that was enjoyable. I've never really done anything like that, so if you've got any improvements that I could make for when I do more of these 5 years in the future videos, let me know, because I feel like I did drag that out a little bit. I don't know how it will do in the edit, but yeah, there you go. Let's talk about future plans for what we're going to do on the channel. As I did mention, the save is going to be available on the Discord for you guys to carry on after 2025 when I left, but I made a save just before we did. Feel free to join the Discord because that's where we're going to have a few conversations about who we will actually manage in the new save, because I decided, yes, we're going to do a new save before the end of FM22. However, I don't think we're going to do like, building a club up from 2nd, 3rd division to win the Champions League. That's probably going to take too long, so my idea is to take a club that are already in the Champions League but aren't really expected to win it, and within 3 or 4 years take them to the top. So for example, my ideas right now of like Champions League level clubs to potentially try and win a Champions League with is Ajax. I think Ajax would be a very fun save and is currently at the top of my list because you get some good wonder kids, blah 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 blah. I think that could be quite fun. Porto or someone in Portugal, whether that's Porto or Benfica, I think I'd do one of them, or maybe I'd go to Spain and to Valencia, who I don't think are in the Champions League at the start, but they've got a good base to build upon. As I say, I think I'm leaning towards Ajax, but drop your comments down below who you think we should manage. I've had people message about Sassuolo and Lazio. Lazio I'd kind of lean towards most, so if you want to see a Serie A save, let me know. Don't think I'll do Bundesliga, but feel free to drop your comments. Something like Schalke might happen next year. I just want to do something that would be a little bit quicker in the next save. So yeah, thank you guys for any input that you do give. Thank you guys for watching this video, whoever does. Feel free to join my Discord and join the discussion there, or comment down below about who you think we should manage or what you've seen in this video. But with that being said, that is the actual end of Lille Legends now, guys. So thank you for all your support consistently throughout it. As you might see, we've hit 2,500 subscribers, which is great. And who knows, maybe at this point, at the end of FM22, we could be on 5,000. It's a bit of a pipe dream, but you never know. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll drop a poll on the YouTube channel for you guys to discuss who you think we should manage. But with that being said, that will be the end of today's video, guys. So stay safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.